I'm going to do a little experiment that I think will work just pretty nice. What I've gone down and done, I went to the berry patch and I just picked a bunch of tips. As a general rule, they're just tip ends. Very few of them are the blunt end. And I cut off, that's probably 10 inches long. And I'm just going to trim the leaves up to the top leaf. And I'm going to leave a good node there, and a good node there to reproduce. And again, take all the leaves off up until you get to the very top leaf, like this. And a lot of people will skin them instead of cutting them clean. Will actually kind of skin them like that, or even some people will even go in there and scrape the stem. It roots better like that in some cases. Blackberries, you typically don't have a whole lot of problem. So cut off all the leaves except the very top one. And these are already, in a sense, starting to sprout. We had some warm weather last week. A little cool right now. It's about 45 maybe right now. Got out on 29 last night. So just trim the leaves. And then when you get close to the top of it, be careful because you don't want to break any of those, bust any of those buds and injure any of them, because then they won't sprout. So when you get close to the top, just leave it something like that, like a little palm tree or something. Alright, and then what I'm going to do is, my wife bought a bunch of what are they called? Mums for the fall, for some decorations and stuff. And of course they got too cold and died. So I've got about 4 or 5 of these pots full of potting soil. I pull the mums up and I'm just going to stick these down in there. Just about as far as they go. Leave a couple of inches sticking up. And when you push them, be careful not to push right in here, not to injure. You don't want to injure any of those nodes, because that's where you're going to get your growth. Now this one here, I can break that one off, maybe break that one off, but right up, getting close to the ends where I want it to start. I want it to root down here off these nodes, but I want it to start propagating up here. So I'm just going to put 10, 15, 20 of them in this pot, and I've got a pretty good mess of them right there, probably 50 or so. And I do believe it's going to be almost a hands-off deal, in that I'm not going to have my misting system turned on because it's just too cold. I'd have to watch it and every other night or every 3 days or something. I could go out there and drain it and whatever because of the cold. So I'm not going to do that. Now, when I think about it, in nice weather, I will go out there and spray them down. I'm going to keep them moist, but I'm not going to go. I'm not going to mist them every day. But I think we're good. Something like that, and even that's got the little crook in it, and that'll even root in even better. A little harder to get in the ground, a little harder to stick in the dirt there, but it'll root better because of that notch on the bottom. That's just more area for it to root. Okay, I do believe, for this time of year when there's nothing else to do, it is a way of getting some nice plants. I'll keep you updated, because if they're going to root, they should root, I would think, in the next 3 or 4 weeks, something like that, even this time of year. And like that one, that was already started a fork here, but it's got a place here where it might sprout, and there and there. So I'm giving it several places, and the ones on the bottom, those would be sprouts too, but I'm going to break those off because I want them to form roots there. You don't have to break them off, they'd form roots anyway, but just push them down in the dirt and put 10 or 15. It's almost like the bulk planting method that I do with tomatoes and peppers. And if you haven't seen that, go back and watch those videos where you plant 50, 100, 150, 200 tomato plants in something about that big and then separate them later. If you're planting a lot of tomato plants, that is a great way to go. Just saves so much room, especially if you're using like a heat pad to get them started and stuff. doing a bulk method is an excellent way to do it. So if you have some blackberries, it's something you may want to go out and do right now. Just tip a few of them, and you could even put them in the house, and you'll notice that the blackberries have the leaves are starting to turn. They're kind of purple now. Some of them will drop, some of them have dropped, and by the end of the winter some more will drop, but not all of them will. But I'm just going to come down to just some of the last nodes and I'll leave for 2, you know. If it's small, real small leaves, I may leave 2 or 3. If it's a larger leaf like that, you know, I may take one of those off. I don't think it matters this time of the year. But anyway, I'm going to put them in the greenhouse. But again, no misting system, nothing like that. This is just an experiment, but I don't see any reason why it wouldn't work. And I'll show you the results later, but something you might want to do. Go get you some blackberries. This should work with raspberries. I'm going to do it with some figs also. Figs are a little harder. I've struggled with propagating figs. But anyway, this should be great with blackberries, because blackberries just propagate so easily. So I'm gonna probably do about 4 of these, probably 20, 30, probably at least 10, 15 plants in each one, and we'll see how it goes. Just thought you might want to see it. Might be something you want to try. But again, I picked a nice little basket full there, little blackberry cuttings. And might be something you want to try. Now, if you have one like this that is not the tip end, in other words, you've got to cut in at both ends, you need to realize which way is up. Typically your shoots are going to be pointing up, but normally what I do, and I did not do it this time, on the bottom I'll make a point. I'll make an angle cut there, and that will let me know when I get back over here. I'll do that out in the field as I'm cutting them, but that will let me know when I get back over here which way is up. But I boo-booed one of them up a while ago because I didn't realize that the end of it was a blunt end instead of a tip end of the cane. Now in these pots, they've had some leaves blow in them over the last couple of months, and I'm just leaving all the leaves in it and everything. I figure it's just more fiber. We all need more fiber, don't we? Anyway, just another tip: be careful to always propagate with the bottom end down, top end up. Make sure you know which way is up. And some of my best propagation successes have been in the fall. There again, we are winter now. That's why I'm calling it an experiment. I don't think I've ever done it this late in the year. But again, I think putting them in the greenhouse, and the greenhouse will be non-heated for right now until I get some seedlings in there from some vegetable seedlings. The greenhouse will be non-heated, so keep that in mind, that I'm not going to heat it. So here's the final product, and somebody's going to ask how close I put them together. You know, some of them are an inch, some of them are 2 inches apart. I just stuck them in there. So that's probably 10, 20, 40, probably 40 plants, you know, assuming the majority of them make 35 to 40 plants at $6 a piece. Not bad for about 15 minutes work. You know? Now, what will happen, where will we go from here? If and when they root, and I don't see any reason why they won't, you know, a month or two from now, or maybe, I may wait till they really get a decent root system in the maybe February, March. I'll dump this out here, and we'll just separate the roots. They'll all be intertwined, but they'll separate pretty easily. Separate the roots, put them in individual pots, and they'll be ready for either planting or selling, whatever you want to do with them. But if you know somebody's got some blackberries and wouldn't mind you coming over and tipping them, and if some of them are too long, mine needed tipping anyway because I didn't get to it late in the year. But anyway, it might be something you want to try. About 15, 20, going out there and cut them everything, maybe 30, 45 minutes work. and at a possible couple $100, $250, something like that. You know, for $250, I'm going to have to add pots and potting soil and whatever, but still not bad. Might be something you want to try. Again, it's an experiment for me because it's late in the year, but I don't see any reason why this is not going to work. I will show you the results, and I'll just go ahead and tell you now that one of the ways you tell if they're rooting is just start pulling up on it. You know, a month from now, 3 or 4 weeks from now, just start pulling up on it. If you feel that it really is grabbing, that it doesn't want to just slide up out of there, you're probably getting a root system developed. Another good way to tell, obviously, is the leaves. If these started to die, not necessarily fall off because it is winter time, but if they turned brown instead of purple or green, then you might say, okay, well, that one didn't make it, and you might go ahead and pull on it and see what happens, and if nothing's there, then just get it out of the way. And I'll do some of that, maybe thinning through it, some of the ones that don't take. Anyway, I have talked too much. Thought you might want to see something you might want to do on a winter's day. And again, it's the peach trees, nectarine trees are bare. We've had some cold for us, cold weather, mid-20s, but it's cold for East Texas. And I am in the midst of a fence project that I'll show you later. Right now, we're talking about blackberries. And I'm gonna do this also with some grapes. Grapes don't propagate quite as easy as blackberries, but I don't see any problem. I think I'm gonna do this with some grapes also. And I may even shoot that when I do. So just eagerly await that video. I know you do. All right, we go.